The Comey case could collapse because of a fundamental procedural flaw in the way the case was brought. In court filings this week, defense lawyers signaled an attack on the prosecution's very foundation, whether the U.S. attorney who sought and signed the indictment was lawfully appointed. If defense lawyers are right, this case could end before it ever reaches trial. This week, the defense also successfully challenged how discovery and classified information will be handled. Because the court adopted their position, Mr. Comey and his attorneys will have broader access to materials provided to them during discovery in the case. This week's filings in United States v. Comey show that the fight is taking place so far on two fronts. First, in the area of discovery and classified materials that may be disclosed to the defense before trial, and second, whether the recently appointed U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan was properly appointed and had the authority to seek and sign the indictment. The first front, discovery, is routine. The court resolved disputes quickly, granting both sides a framework for handling classified information under the Classified Information Procedures Act. These rulings are unlikely to affect the outcome of the case. But the second front, the authority of the prosecutor, could decide everything. Comey's defense filed notice that it intends to challenge the lawfulness of U.S. Attorney Halligan's appointment. Reports suggest she was appointed under 28 U.S.C. Section 546, the statute governing temporary appointment of U.S. attorneys. That section allows the Attorney General to temporarily appoint a U.S. attorney for up to 120 days if the office is vacant. However, unless a new U.S. attorney is appointed by the President with advice and consent of the Senate, then the district court appoints the U.S. attorney until the vacancy is filled. The notice acknowledges that the issue will likely have to be decided by an out-of-district judge, citing a precedent from earlier this year in New Jersey. In that New Jersey case, U.S. District Court Judge Matthew Brann, sitting by designation from the Middle District of Pennsylvania, ruled that Alina Habba, New Jersey's acting U.S. attorney, had been serving unlawfully once her temporary appointment expired. That decision shook the Department of Justice because if upheld, it could invalidate every indictment she signed after her authority lapsed. The case in New Jersey is now before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Now the same issue is about to be raised in the Eastern District of Virginia, where James Comey is charged. And here's why it matters. If U.S. Attorney Halligan wasn't authorized to appear before the grand jury and sign the indictment, then the entire indictment may be void. And the Office of the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia couldn't bring another indictment against Comey if the case is dismissed, because the statute of limitations for his September 30, 2020 testimony ran on September 29 of this year. In other words, a single ruling on Halligan's authority to appear before the grand jury, seek an indictment, and sign it once the grand jury returned it could be the end of the case. In military strategy, it's said that the best defense is a strong offense, and Comey's attorneys have taken that to heart. They've already won the first skirmish on the protective order, and now they're ready to take aim at the very legitimacy of the government's case. The defense has told the court additional motions will be filed on October 20th, and when those motions are filed, we'll be breaking them down for you. So the takeaway from this week's update is this. If Halligan lacked authority to appear before the grand jury and seek the indictment, then the Comey indictment may be dismissed as being void. And if it's dismissed, the government won't be able to refile the charges because the statute of limitations has already run. If you found this update helpful, please subscribe to our channel. And remember that where law rules, justice follows.